moving on. So a very, very big topic that has been going around the wrestling community over the past week, as it pertains to this specific talent, because he will be in a championship match at Crown Jewel. Um, Drew McIntyre. It says that he has not inked a new deal with WWE. If he does not sign an extension, it means that his contract will be set to expire prior to WrestleMania 40. So that leaves the question: do you think that Drew is going to resign with WWE, and do you think that he should stay or that he should go?
Um, Honestly, it's kind of interesting. Drew spent, I think it's been over a decade, in WWE. If I'm not mistaken, wasn't he around since like the Nexus was a thing?
I
Like,
don't remember if the Nexus, if he was around during the next, probably a little bit prior too. But remember, he
right.
came in late 2000, like late 2000s, right? And then he was
Hmm.
released. He kind of
Yeah.
rebuilt himself on the indies, and then he came back. And this, I think he came
Right.
back in like 2013, 2014.
He did. All right. So yeah, nonetheless, okay, his actual career since it truly started and he was established has been 10 years. Um, and he's found his footing. But see, in my personal opinion, I like Drew McIntyre. I enjoy him. I think that they gave him opportunities, but it always felt like the booking wasn't the way it should be, or it didn't feel like it was the right place at the right time. Um, I always harp on this, but the fact that he had to unfortunately have his WrestleMania moment at the fucking pandemic in front of
Right.
no audience, winning a belt against, I think, Brock Lesnar. No one remembers it. To beat Brock Lesnar is freaking legendary. You know what I
Right.
mean? It made Steph's
Absolutely.
moment being the Beast Slayer. And unfortunately, amongst all the people that beat Brock Lesnar, Drew's on that list, but no one goes back to it. He also had a feud, I think, with like what, Randy Orton or somebody on the fucking Hell in a Cell match. No one remembers that either. He had a lot of bigger moments, but you just don't remember it.
Right.
Um, but that's when he was white hot, and then as soon as he got his opportunity, like I said, no fans, and the fans make wrestling. It just kind of fizzled out. And then
Mhm.
afterwards, there was times where he could have been inserted to be interesting, but they just, they had other decisions, other booking with him. I feel like he's worthy of having an actual real title run in front of a live crowd, and I feel like if you give us that on his way out, that I wouldn't mind if he wanted to go elsewhere, just experiment. Cause I mean, he's been dealing with WWE for how long?
Yeah.
But I'm not opposed to him staying in the E. He has like a personality and a look to me that could fit well in either AEW or WWE.
Agreed.
Like, yes, he was basically made in WWE per se, even though he won the Indies, but
Yeah.
he doesn't feel like extremely WWE polished.
Yeah. Agreed.
You know, something about him does have a little bit of that rugged indie feel that I feel like would work in AEW, not on Saturday night. Maybe actually no, he could do Saturday night if he wanted to, but he could also deal with like the fictitious, corny stuff that they do on Wednesday, like because
Hmm.
he has that in his personality. So there's a lot to play around with Jew. That's crazy. Drew. Drew, I'm so tired, y'all. I've been up since 5 in the morning. Excuse me. But Drew, I feel like is somewhat valuable to WWE. I mean, he's been part of a lot of marketing and commercials. They definitely profit off of his look and put him on the face of trucks before and stuff like that. Many
Hmm.
commercials. So I feel like they would feel like it's a loss if they lost Drew. Me personally, would I like him to resign? Possibly. If he goes elsewhere, I'm not against it. But what do you think about it?
Personally, I think that even though he has kind of hit the mountaintop in WWE, I still feel like he has more to offer. And I feel like he's kind of done the indie
I
game long
agree with that.
enough, in the sense of
Hmm.
like he's gone out, he's won world titles elsewhere, he's, done the road stuff. And to be honest, because of the way that even all these other promotions are set up, Like, I just feel like if Drew were to go into an AEW, he wouldn't be marketed as a big star. And if you're not going to be marketed as a big star in AEW, and you're kind of in a main event picture situation in WWE, why would you jump ship? Even if you're not necessarily competing for a world title, at least you're going to get a bigger bag. So like, I feel like I would like to see Drew in WWE moving forward. I think that another thing to kind of highly consider is that because now WWE is under new management and ownership than before, that's definitely going to affect his contract situation as far as how much money he's going to be offered. So I think that's something to kind of keep a pulse on. But I would want to see Drew in WWE. I would want to see Drew in WWE for a long time. I feel like there's still other things that he can do, other matchups that he can be a part of, especially since like they kind of solidified who he is now. He's the Batman of WWE, right? They said it in a promo. Cody Rhodes is Superman. Drew is Batman. So it's like, okay, now that he's Batman, what would a Batman in WWE do? I feel like we still haven't been able to see that yet, and I think that we can have a chance to kind of see that be, translate on screen a little bit more now that we have like a solidified identity. So we'll see what happens with them. But we want to know how you guys feel about this. Is Drew McIntyre staying in WWE after WrestleMania 40, or is he leaving prior to? Let us know in the comments below.